to a new episode of the Football Plus F1 show. As today we're going to talk about today's Premier League games, and also we're going to talk more about the practice session of Mexico Grand Prix in Formula 1. So let's get started. Let's start with the football first. Chelsea against actually with yesterday's Premier League game, Chelsea Leeds United against West Ham. Leeds United win 2-1. West Ham once again they lost another game. Leeds United with 2-1 win. They were 2-0 up after 15 minutes. It was a dream start for Leeds United. And then after that, you can clearly see Leeds United started to be cautious, and they were like taking the gas off and not trying to go for it more and more because they might get caught out. And so they were like more strategically for the rest of the game. So it was the right approach from Daniel Farker and Leeds United. West Ham started to have more possession, but they didn't create many big chances. They scored at the end to Mateus Fernandes, but it was too little, too late. So well done to Leeds. They win the game 2-1. And yeah, a good win for Leeds. And West Ham is another defeat for Nuno Espirito Santo. And you can clearly see it's not the problem of the manager. You know, Nuno Espirito Santo is a very good manager, and he'll get it right at some point. You can clearly see it's not the manager's problem. It's the players and also the people in the club. The people above the club who are, making the decisions. It's so, because West Ham fans always like to blame the manager at times. So, I hope this couple of games understand that actually it's not the manager for the problem for West Ham. So, yeah, and since Moyes have left the team, they've had 3 managers, and this is the same guy that they wanted him to get sacked, and he's won the European trophy, got to them couple of European positions. So on to today's games. Chelsea against Sunderland. Sunderland, they're a good team. They've done really well since being promoted to the Premier League, back to the Premier League for the first time since 2017. They've been very competitive, and when you see kind of promoted teams, the teams who are promoted into the Premier League, you'd see like, they're going to struggle. It's going to be difficult for them. But they've been very competitive. They've been good in defending. When they're going forward, they're very good as well. They've been very competitive. So they're a good team. They're a good team, good athletic team, and they've got good midfield, obviously, good experienced players as well, which is important. You need to have, if you want to stay up in the Premier League, you need to have good experienced players, and they have them. One of them is Granit Xhaka, of course. So, yeah, and Chelsea, they started to pick up a bit of form recently. They've won 4 games in a row in all competitions. So this is another game they should win. They're at home against Sunderland, so I'll go for a 2-0 win for Chelsea. Newcastle United against Fulham. Newcastle has been like a up and down form recently. Not like it's been up and down form, up and down in the Premier League. The 15th in the Premier League, whereas the Champions League, they've done well the last 2 games in the Champions League. So yeah, whereas Fulham, they've not, they've played, to be fair, they've played some difficult games. They've had to play some of the big teams early on. They have to play Man United, they've had to play Arsenal, they've had to play Chelsea, they've had to play I think they had to play United, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Man United, they had to play, they had to play some difficult teams. They've not had an easy start, and this is another difficult game for them. And Newcastle at home, it's not been the best start for them in the Premier League, but I expect them to win this time. So I'll go for a 2-1 win for Newcastle. So next game, it's Man United against Brighton. Man United, obviously, they've picked up some form recently, winning against Sunderland, winning against Liverpool. Obviously, that huge win against Liverpool Sunday. Can they carry on that form to the next game, which is against Brighton at home, which is not an easy game. Brighton are a very good side, and they always make it difficult for the big teams. They're a tricky team to play against. If you look at the record of Brighton against the big teams this season, drew with Tottenham, they won against Man City, they beat Chelsea, even though Chelsea were down to 10 men. They beat Newcastle at home. They're a very difficult team to play against when you're a big team, especially because they all step up against the big teams, Brighton. So this is another game that will be difficult. for United. And it's going to be at Old Trafford, so it's going to be an advantage for United because they're at home. But Brighton, the recent years they've done quite well in Old Trafford. I think from what I remember in the records, I think they've won 3 consecutive games at Old Trafford in the past, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 consecutive games, something like that. So yeah, so it's not going to be easy game for United, and Brighton are going to try to play their football, and United will be hoping to keep their winning streak, 2 wins in a row, to make it 3 wins in a row. So yeah, my score prediction, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Brentford against Liverpool. This is a nightmare of a game for Arne Slot because he doesn't like to play against teams who play with long balls, and for sure Brentford will play with long balls. I mean, you see him cracking in the press conference saying that we've had to deal with teams playing long balls. He counted the amount of long balls teams have had to play against him, and he said we've had to cope with 68 long balls against United. And I'm like, this is. Are you? I mean, you're a football manager. You are managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. You are the Premier League champion, and you're too busy on focusing on on how many long balls have other teams used. Why can't you focus on your next game? Why can't you focus on can you improve? And you say, oh, long balls, okay. Like, adapt to it, mate. Like this season, yeah, a lot has been about long balls, about long throws, set pieces. And one of the big teams have been part of it is Arsenal, of course. But people forget that Liverpool have scored the most goals in set pieces this season. But nobody talks about it. Whereas they only talk about Arsenal scoring goals from set pieces. So I think it's very hypocritical from Arne Slot to focus on set pieces and long balls and to criticise when his team has scored the most goals in set pieces this season. So yeah, but this is going to be a tricky game because Brentford, they're a decent side. They've been quite good under Keith Andrews this season. They've been difficult to play against. The defence are very strong. They're at home. They're strong as well. They've got good experienced players like Jordan Henderson, of course, and Keller, goalkeeper, is a very good goalkeeper. And also they obviously they will use long balls and tactics and corners and set pieces, which they can do, right? Even though Arne Slot says you cannot do that in football. So they're going to be difficult for Liverpool, and Liverpool have to cope with it. Will Salah start? Because obviously there's been a bit of outrage in social media where he's deleted all of his Liverpool images in social media, and he went, he clapped to the fans towards the end, but he went straight down the tunnel. And listen, Salah has been amazing for Liverpool. People forget how he's carried them for years. And yes, he's not had a good season so far, but I'm pretty sure he'll come back. But the problem is when you're getting more older, you're not going to be the same as before. You're going to lose something, that's for sure. And I'm pretty sure it's going to happen the same thing to Salah. When he's going to get older and older, he's going to lose something. So that's normal. But he's going to get back to his best at some point, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, my score prediction, Liverpool should win, but you never know with Brentford and this kind of games, because it's at night, 8 p.m. Anything can happen. So I'm going for a 2-2 draw. I'm actually going for a shocker. I'm going for a 2-2 draw. So yeah. Okay, so in terms of La Liga, is there any games? Obviously, the Clásicos on Sunday, which I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, but not today. But it's going to be such a big game. Napoli against Inter Milan. That's a big game. 2 teams who are level on points, who are second and third. Napoli have been a difficult run of form recently. So this, and especially losing 6-2 to PSV. So again, they have to come back strong and bounce back, especially because Inter, they've been a decent amount of form recently. They've won 4 games in a row. So in Serie A, so yeah, Inter they've done quite well recently. But yeah, it's going to be a very good game. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, in this kind of Serie A game is always tactical and teams will make it difficult. So my score prediction, I'm going for, I think Inter will win. I think they're in a better form and better momentum than Napoli right now. So I'm going for 2-0 win for Inter. AC Milan 2-2 with Pisa. It's a game that AC Milan should have won because they are top and they should have won, but they failed to do that against a team who are who have won a game this season. Yeah, that's it. I think yeah, that's it. Thank you guys. Now let's talk about Formula One.